Well, good morning, everyone. Obviously, it was a very big week last week. You followed it all. Let me just say before taking your questions, I couldn't be prouder of the Senate Republican Conference. We were standing up for the presumption of innocence in this country when there were a number of Democratic senators on the Judiciary Committee saying that presumption of innocence no longer applies. And secondly, we were literally under assault. These demonstrators, I'm sure some of them were well-meaning citizens, but many of them were obviously trained to get in our faces, to go to our homes up there, to basically almost attack us in the halls of the Capitol. So there was a full-scale effort to intimidate as well as to eliminate fundamental notions of fairness and due process, such as the presumption of innocence. So I'm obviously very pleased with the outcome. I'll be going to the White House tonight for the official swearing in of Justice Kavanaugh, and with that, I'll be happy to throw it open. I have zero tolerance for the kind of behavior that Justice Kavanaugh was accused of. But I think it's important to remind everybody that there was no corroborating evidence. What I think this has done for us is provide the kind of adrenaline shot that we had not been able to figure out how to achieve in any other way. So we see that movement. Let's talk about exactly what the tradition is in a presidential election year when you have a Senate in the hands of one party and a White House in the hands of another. Presidential election year. It's what we had in 2016. You'd have to go back to the 1880s to find the last time a vacancy occurring in a presidential election year was filled by a Senate of a different party from the president. Philip, you also recall from 2016 that Joe Biden had volunteered. We didn't have a vacancy in 1992, a presidential year in which there was one party in control of the White House, a different party in control of the Senate. But Joe volunteered that if a vacancy occurred, they wouldn't fill it. You may also recall from our discussions in 2016 that Chuck Schumer and Harry Reid said 18 months before the end of the Bush 43 presidency that if a vacancy occurred, they wouldn't fill it. That's because there was a Democratic Senate and a Republican president. So what I did was entirely consistent with American history going back to the 1800s of what happens when a vacancy occurs in the middle of a presidential election year and you have one party in the White House and another party in control of the Senate.